Hello everyone, this is Shannon from That's So Po, and today I'm doing the Hopeful Booktuber tag, which was created by Reija at the Bookfinch, who also tagged me. I thought this would be a great way to start off the year, just being a little bit hopeful and talking about what that means. So let's go ahead and get started. Question 1. Hope means different things to different people. How would you define hope? I think for me, hope means that you are accepting reality as it is. You see the world for what it is, including all of its problems, and you still think that it's okay to make things better, that there is still hope for the future. Recently, I read The Confidence Gap by Russ, and in it he talks about the idea of a reality gap. And a reality gap is basically that distance between where reality is and where you want it to be, and how the bigger that gap, the further apart they are, the kind of more hurtful it is, the more painful it is to acknowledge that reality. But what's really important is that you see what that gap is and you still take action. You still say, yeah, but I want to make things better. I want to narrow that gap. And so I think hope is just that belief that you can make things better and that it's worth trying. Question 2. As a content creator, how does hope and hopefulness manifest in your content? I think one of the big things that I hope to do when I'm reading is to learn about other people's experiences and really just understand them more, have better empathy, have better knowledge about what's affecting people all over the world. So I do try to choose books that allow me insight into different people's experiences, and then I talk about them, I try to reflect on them, and I try to share the things that I've loved, hopefully with the idea that other people will also find books that sound interesting to them and be interested in picking those up and learning about other people, just kind of building better empathy for all of us and learning more about the world around us. Question 3. Is there a book genre you most associate with hopeful narratives? If yes, why is that? For me, middle grade is my go-to hopeful genre. Middle grade right now is just fantastic. There is so much amazing work being published that deals with reality, deals with some pretty heavy topics, deals with difficult situations, but has the kind of gentleness and kindness and hopefulness that makes it just so wonderful to read. So I love picking up middle grade that is dealing with those bigger topics, but in a way that's very hopeful for the future. Question 4. Recommend 3 books or stories with themes of hope and resistance. Bonus points if they're new releases. So I'll go ahead and recommend a couple of favorite middle grades that I think are just really people who are dealing with difficult situations but have hope and are trying to be better. The first is Meow or Never by Jazz Taylor. This is a really adorable book. It's about a middle school girl who is dealing with pretty severe anxiety. She has a lot of panic attacks, and her family has just moved to a new place, and she's at a new school, and she doesn't know how to make friends because she gets so tongue-tied and anxious anytime she tries to talk to people. But one day in her kind of theater class, she's off by herself singing, and she has an amazing singing voice, and a classmate overhears her and convinces her to try out for the musical that the school is putting on. She ends up getting the lead role, which is very anxiety-inducing, but at the same time, she wants to kind of connect with people, and so it's about her journey trying to figure out what to do, as well as her crush on another girl in her class, and just making friends. And so I thought that this was so hopeful in the way that you have a character who's dealing with real mental health issues, and that's not ignored and it's not fixed, it's not any of these sorts of things. It's just something that she deals with, and that's okay. She still has like a way to find her place and find her people. Another book I loved was Golden Girl by Reem Faruqi. This is another contemporary middle grade, but this one is in verse, which I love. I always love books in verse. And it's about a girl who is also in middle grade and dealing with a lot of family issues. So her grandfather has come from Pakistan to stay with them in the US because he's going through chemo treatment. And so that's a little hard for their family. And at the same time, her dad, who has been working on a job in the Middle East, gets accused accused falsely of embezzlement and gets detained there. And so her father is separated from them. And on top of all of this, she has a little bit of a problem with kleptomania. She keeps taking things, and she knows that it's not good, and she knows that it's not right, and it's going to cause problems, but she doesn't know how to stop. And so what I really loved about this story was that you have a girl who's going through like a lot of problems in her kind of own personal mental health, as well as just what's happening to her family, and it's just filled with growth and with love and with acceptance and with figuring out how to deal with all of that in a really hopeful way. And my last recommendation is Jennifer Chan is Not Alone by Keller. So this story is basically really interesting in the way that it plays out. It is about a girl, Jennifer Chan, who goes missing. And her neighbor ends up trying to figure out what happened to her, including looking through her notebooks where Jennifer has put all of this information that she's been gathering about the existence of aliens. She's very, very convinced that aliens exist. And so now her neighbor, who was sort of friends but sort of not with her, is worried that that's what is happened to her. And so the story is about that search for Jennifer Chan, but it's also about so many other issues. It's about bullying, it's about isolation, it's about grief. It's so many wonderful discussions of all of these issues that these girls are going through as they're, becoming teenagers and growing up. And it's just that idea that there is hope for growth and for connection, even when you feel super isolated. Okay, so those are all of my answers for the Hopeful Booktuber tag, and I would love to hear yours as well. So feel free to leave me a comment down below telling me about what genre you go to when you're looking for something hopeful, any books that you would recommend, or if you'd like to make a video, I would love to see it, so I definitely tag you, and go ahead and let me know so I can check it out below.